Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the NAMM show. It's Saturday, day 3 of the show, but you're still trapped here like us because you were in that long security line. It was hell to get in. You don't want to leave. So what are you going to do while you're in this building? You're going to get free swag, possibly win some prizes, and meet famous people. And here at this booth right now, McDSP, we can satisfy all 3 conditions. I have Kevin and Kane Churko here. They've worked with the likes of, I don't know, Ozzy Osbourne, Five Finger Death Punch, Disturbed, Papa Roach. It goes on and on and on. They have all kinds of awards sometimes they forget about. Oh yeah, I had that Canadian Grammy back in the day of my other band, Modern Science. Yeah, well anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, back to Kevin and Kane. Anyway, they're here to reveal their secrets, tips, and tricks about mixing. They might mention the McDSP plugin or two, which I'd be very grateful for, but hot dang, let's go. They also like the Vegas Knights hockey team, so if any like LA fans are here, sorry, you're out of luck. Our team's better anyway. All right. Well, first thing I have to ask, to both of you, what compelled you to work together in audio? How did that happen?
I believe I can answer that one best. I couldn't afford anybody else, so I thought, I'll get the kid involved. It's hard to find, talented people for cheap, so that's not really the truth, of course. It's actually on him. I actually discourage my kids from having anything to do with music at all because, as we know, it's very difficult. And, it was frustrating for me a lot of years. But he just kept doing his own thing, and so every time I think he started on Cakewalk many, many years ago, and I go, okay, that's pretty cool, he did that. And then, I give another tool, and he'd do that. I bought him a Pro Tools rig, he'd work on that, and eventually, my old boss, Mutt Lang, hired him to do some stuff, and so I thought, okay, well, he's a real guy. Why would I hire anybody else when I got the next guy right here? So that's kind of why I hired him. He didn't have a choice in it.
How about your studio in Las Vegas? It's pretty cool. Could you just sort of give everyone an overview of it? Like large collection of gear, cool mixing room, all that?
When I first moved to Vegas, I worked out of my house. I had one room that had its own air conditioner, which was good for the gear. And then we built one, and then this other studio became available that, like, my second studio was like 1,500 square feet, and this awesome studio in town was 13,000 square feet. And so, I'd kind of forward thought that a little bit, and every year I'd been sending them emails and calls, because I'd worked in there every now and then, saying, do you want to lease the whole studio to us? Do you want to sell? Even though I had no money to buy it. I mean, you can't limit dreams. But I kept, kind of poking them, and I'd see it go down to 4 partners, to 3 partners, to 2 partners, and once it got to 1 partner, I said, okay, I got a shot here. And so finally one day, the email showed up, hey, we want to sell, and do you want to buy it? And I said, yeah. I said, let me put something together. Then I had to go to my wife and ask her, hey, can I buy this 13,000 square foot studio for like 10 times as much as we've ever paid for anything in our lives? And she said no. So then I rallied the troops. And I just put it all together, the numbers, to say worst cases, what it's going to cost me, and eventually we kind of got into it. And then my wife agreed, okay, it makes sense. And the rest is history, and my daughter runs it really great, so we have kind of 2 businesses. We have our production businesses, and then we have just, clients renting studio time, and it's cool because I get to see lots of people I wouldn't normally see. We have a pretty small social circle and a pretty small group of clients. I mean, I work with the same people over and over again. It's like I'm in the band or something. But we love those guys, and so we don't really meet a lot of people. So recently, we got lots of high-end people, everybody from CeeLo, who was there, I think, the first week I owned the place, to Miley Cyrus, the people that I'd never be crossing paths with. I'm not working with these guys, but they're booking our studio and coming in. It's kind of fun.
Interesting, and that kind of touches on, when you have a large facility, how do you keep it going? How do you keep that business going? It's not just the work you're doing, but you are renting out the space for others who might do other types of music you wouldn't have been doing normally.
I do everything at the studio.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. My daughter does it all. I do nothing. I do a couple things, couple technical things, but... Hey, do you want the microphone? No, seriously, it's like, we just want to make music. And when I had no idea what a beast that studio would be. So Chloe does pretty much everything. Kane's fiance is involved, as well, Sean, and they kind of keep track of the business stuff and bookings, and I just show up and go into my closet. Well, it's not a closet anymore. Into my awesome studio and work with my bands and make music, and I want to keep focused on doing that. And she's focused on making a studio, which is why I'm wearing this shirt. She made me wear this one today. Yeah. So it's a team sport, but a family sport. My wife, gets involved in interior decorating. We're a tight family and tight friends.
Sounds good. Well, okay. What kind
Nothing
of
about music there.
What kind of work?
My family's great.
All right, awesome. They are. What kind of stuff are you doing right now? What are you working on?
Getting ready. Monday morning, I start the Disturbed album, the next one, and so that'll be day one. So tomorrow's I fly back, and it's just a down day, just to get ready for that.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure, and Kane. I'm not going to keep talking. Kane will talk here in a second. Kane just mixed. He's got a #1 song on iTunes right now, rock tune from a band called Bad Wolves, which did the Cranberries song Zombie. And unfortunately, right before her unfortunate death, she was actually, the night before, she was scheduled to go into the studio in London to record an overdub on that track. So it kind of took a bad turn, but they got Kane to mix that track, and it sounds great and doing well.
All right. Okay, Mr. I'm mixing with the famous and currently successful people. What else have you been up to?
I just finished a record with a band called Memphis Mayfire. I'm not sure when it's coming out, but it's done, or at least my job's done. I've been doing a lot of mixes. I mean, I really enjoy mixing. It kind of gives me flexibility to do other things I like to do, whether it's writing sessions or development projects. I mean, we have a couple artists this past year that we've actually been kind of investing some time into. To get a deal and to help launch. One of them, we already got a deal and it's going to come out. It's a country artist named Corey Marks. Really cool record. I love it. I'm sure Dad's super proud of it. We're also working with a hip hop artist. I've almost finished a whole hip hop record with this rapper guy. With me singing the hooks and everything. And I'm not sure where it's going to go yet or how it's going to take shape. It's kind of just been a labor of love. That's nearing its completion, so we'll figure out the fun marketing stuff. But it's always trying to find that balance between work, passion, things, projects you love, projects that keep you going on the things you love, and finding that sweet spot, for ourselves.
That sounds good. Sounds so easy, right? Just buy a big warehouse, fill it with gear. Make the rest of your family work for you for free and just show up and mix every day. Yeah, I should have thought of that. What was I doing? Darn it. Oh.
Well,
wait.
I mean, your kids are still young yet, right?
Oh no, my oldest is in college now, studying engineering.
Why isn't she here interviewing me?
Because she's studying engineering and a minor in electronic music. And last semester she made her first project, an audio equalizer. She was really quizzing me on it because it was like analog. So I'm like, hey, come on, Dad. This op amp or this one? I gotta go. I'm sorry. Just that one. Sorry. And this year she asked me, I'm gonna just try to produce some Pro Tools tracks on the side. Like, what? Hello? Was I talking to my own child? Is what I do actually cool? No, Dad, but your clients are. Oh, well, okay. Don't push your luck, Dad. Right. Shutting up. Anyway, so. Yeah, life is good. And my other daughter's smart as a tack, too. I don't know. I can't help them with their homework since, they were 10. I don't know what to say.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. But just by chance, in any of those things you guys were doing, did you use a McDSP plugin or two that you liked or it did something for you that was, cool? Like you?
Nah. Kidding, of course. I mean, I've been using McDSP since probably your very first plugin, so I've been a fan a long time. And we're not shy about talking about things that we've used like FutzBox.
I use FutzBox all day long.
Yeah, every session,
drums, vocals, guitars.
Yeah. It's on my drum bus, my permanent drum bus. So I'm always mixing it in a little bit. Not always for fills and that sort of thing, and sometimes a lot. The whole that new EC300 is my delay. That, again, it's in my session
Amazing.
template.
Yeah.
It's there every time. I rarely have to move away from that because it's got all the cool things that I love, all in one box. I guess those two would be my favorite because those two to me are distinct to McDSP. It's like only you guys do those ones.
Yeah.
You make a great EQ, you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say the AE600. It's been amazing. I mean, that saves so much time. I mean, I think about the old days where we used to like automate an EQ like syllable by syllable to try to smooth out the vocal and stuff. And with the AE600 and having 6 bands of active and 6 bands of fixed EQ, it gives you enough flexibility to get a good sound happening and without having to labor over it for 7 hours.
Yeah, that's actually, you know, one of my favorite tools too, and it's actually good for our kind of workflow because now that we don't really work with each other that much, we work more on our own things. I'll do a mix, and I'll have the 600 on the vocal. A lot of times it ends up there, and it's got all the active EQ going on. And then I'll get him to come in and listen real quick, just say what do you hear, and he'll come in and he can just take put the fixed one on, and instead of putting a whole other EQ on and taking up another slot in my path, he just pulls the fixed EQ down and says, well, just do this, and takes it at 3K down by 8 dB or something crazy because that's how he rolls. And it's just quick and easy to make tweaks. And even for me at the end of the thing, I usually launch that one for the active EQ sections, but then it's just so easy to bump a little bit of 10K or whatever we need. It's really quick and easy without having to get a whole nother instance. Yeah.
Cool. That was almost like that was cool, right? There's a simulation there, right? Something. Anyway, does anyone have a question for these guys? They are really experts. I'm not the expert. They are. If you had a question about music production or how you convinced your spouse to let you buy a giant warehouse and fill it with gear and then help you run it.
I would say don't do that. That's a lot of work. You have to have a daughter if you're going to do something like that. Someone who can take care of it all.
All right.
Yeah. No, totally.
Well,
unless you want to stop being music producer guy and start being manager guy, which I don't.
Fair enough. Well then, shoot. Don't go anywhere. Has everyone had their badge scanned? Because if we scan your badge, you're entered in a raffle. Okay. Yes? Does everyone have a red raffle ticket? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to have 4 drawings. First 3 winners get a McDSP plugin of their choice, and then the last one will get something a little more. Let's start, and these guys are going to pick the winners, so that means it's like legit. Okay? Oh wait, Mike has a question. Do you prefer producing, engineering, or mixing?
Definitely. I love mixing because I'm alone, and
it's not that we don't like people. We do like people.
It's like me time. Once the band leaves and you have that quiet space for a second, and you can set the lights the way you want them and the air the way you want it, and get your vibe going and just sit down in the chair and listen. That's just really fun, and then I would say producing.
Until the comments come back from that.
Usually we're obviously doing it all on all of our projects, engineering, producing, mixing, mastering. But if I had to isolate them, I would say mixing, then producing, then engineering. Engineering's the hard work. That's the math and the and the oh my god, I'm gonna fuck something up early on in this project. Hopefully I don't. I don't like that process. I like the mixing, fixing all the problems process.
Yeah, I would have to echo that as far as engineering and recording goes, sometimes you don't get a second chance to record because it's really all about the content, the artist, the music, all that sort of thing. And so if you're the engineer and levels aren't right and you weren't watching behind you or beside you on the compressor and you're pinning it too hard, all of a sudden you can wreck something that would have normally been really great. Whereas mixing, just take another pass and change it. So I would say engineer, but I started as an engineer first. So for me, I got kind of all that pressure, and I could do that stuff at an early stage. So it kind of was a little bit of a relief later on. But I would echo that I think producing for me is the most rewarding, in the sense that You know, you do something, you work with the band, you help them create something as good as they possibly can, and then you're going to hold up your arm and go, yeah, we did it. You know, that's a little different than engineering. With engineering, I'd phone you or phone some of my other friends and says, yeah, I did it. And you go, yeah, that sounds good, and then you're done. But producing, you can kind of take more ownership and more pride in it. And like Kane, mixing to me is that happy place that just, you're doing your own thing. It's almost a meditative. In fact, I don't like people to be in the room with me when I mix because it gets me out of that extra deep zone of, you know, at 11 where you hear things even three-dimensionally and, you know, all that sort of stuff. But, you know, that can be frustrating too, because if you didn't produce it, you don't really know what the artist had in mind. So then there's lots of or there could be back and forth at the end of it. You know, these days usually people hire me to do what I do, so it's not really a problem. Okay. But I would say produce is the most satisfying.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Have a good day.
Thank you, guys.